Welcome back to Critical Corner, unfiltered commentary, not your truth, the real truth. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, welcome back. And to new viewers, welcome. From the Washington Examiner, Russia in tremendous financial distress as stock market shuddered. Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. Before we get started, I would really appreciate everyone. I'm getting shadow banned really badly on this channel by YouTube. If you could possibly share this link with as many people as you can, even if you have your own website, or share it through an email, or share it on your social media, anywhere you can to get around YouTube's shadow banning algorithm, I would really appreciate it. It would help out the channel a lot because I'm struggling along, but I'm not going to give up. Let's read on. The Russian economy is reeling from the international sanction levied in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. After initial rounds of sanctions late last week, the United States, the European Union, and other countries imposed several new measures designed to squeeze the Russian economy and push Russian strongman Vladimir Putin to back off his war in Ukraine. The Russian stock market closed on Wednesday as the value of the country's currency, the ruble, collapsed amid the crushing sanctions. Again, we'll give it a little, yeah. Oh, poor Vlad. You having a bad day? You know, I'll tell you what. He is evil. As Biden says, I agree with me, he has no soul. I get all that stuff. I get all those analogies. But the one thing he's not is stupid. How could he have miscalculated so badly? Everybody makes mistakes, but this kind of mistake is like a once in a century mistake. I don't get it. Once he saw things were going bad, he should have just pulled back to the 3 territories on the eastern Ukraine that said, quote unquote, they wanted their independence, and recognize them as new states and occupy that area and stay there, and then figure out what to do as soon as things started going bad. But he didn't. I don't understand. Let's read on. The ruble tumbled by about 30% from Monday to Friday. That's a lot in one day, really, because this is one trading day. Hitting an all-time low, although it has since pared back a bit of those losses. At one point, the ruble was trading as low as 120 against the dollar, according to Reuters. As the ruble collapsed, Russian citizens have been seen across the country waiting in lines at ATMs to withdraw foreign currency. Now, funny story, those of you younger probably wouldn't remember, but right after the Soviet Union fell, 60 Minutes did an interview in Moscow with Moscow prostitutes. Now, they're the purest sense of capitalism there is. And they said, since the Soviet Union and your money is worthless, what do you take for payment? And the prostitutes told the 60 Minutes interviewer, we take U.S. currency, German marks, and Marlboro cigarettes. Because Russian or German marks and U.S. currency were the 2 best stable currencies in the world. And, of course, we all know Marlboro cigarettes speak a universal language everywhere. I just thought that was interesting. So even some prostitutes in Moscow knew more about economics than the current President Biden's administration does. I find that to be fascinating. Over the weekend, Western countries announced a certain Russian financial institution be cut off from the SWIFT system, a move that President Biden had previously declined to pursue. That's the catch-22. If you cut off Putin and Russia completely from the SWIFT banking system for international currency purchases, i.e. some of their products, oil and their gas, you'll back them into a corner. And like a wounded animal, they will lash out just indiscriminately. You've got to give him a way out in order to save face and not destroy his economy totally. Certainly don't want to help his economy, but if you trash it to ashes, he'll have nothing to lose. And do you really want somebody that's absolutely lashing out like a wild animal that also has the codes to nuclear weapons? Think about that. It's not a very good scenario, but it's not kissing his behind. But sometimes you've got to take your anger and frustration and bury it because the alternative is worse. I'm not saying kiss his behind at all or go along with the invasion of Ukraine. I'm saying back off just a little, maybe through diplomatic channels. Get a message to him that says, we'll find a way to make you save face. Stop now. That's the way these things work. Society for Worldwide Internet Banking Financial Telecommunication, better known as SWIFT, is the main secure messaging system that facilitates cross-border financial transactions and money transfers. SWIFT is overseen by the Bank of Belgium and is used by 11,000 banks and institutions worldwide. U.S. official that the SWIFT move was done in order to send the ruble into a free fall and generate crippling inflation in an effort to force Putin's hand. You can punish somebody too much. We learned that here in the United States from incarceration. You put too much punishment, it can always backfire. I am not an appeaser by any means. This guy needs to go. But you've got to do that balance between putting horrible sanctions and pressure on him, at the same time not going too far so he snaps. Maybe he's having a mental breakdown. I really don't know. It's a tough game to play. Our strategy, to put simply, is to make sure the Russian economy goes backward as long as Putin decides to go forward with the invasion in Ukraine. And we can go through, I'm not going to read this whole thing here. External conditions for the Russian economy have drastically changed. The central bank said in a statement, due to the current situation, the Bank of Russia decided not to open a stock market section, and so on and on. And a lot of the billionaire oligarchs in Russia have their billions in Swiss banks. And even Switzerland, which prides itself on international neutrality, took the step of freezing the assets of Putin and hundreds of other individuals sanctioned by the EU last week. The unprecedented military attack by Russia on a sovereign European state was the reason. Chris Miller, an assistant professor at Tufts Fletcher School, was visiting a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, said, while the new sanctions against Russia from the West are tough, they're not maximally tough as, for example, U.S. sanctions on Iran have been. Given that Russia supplies 40% of Europe's natural gas, the U.S. and its allies have left some exemptions on payments for purchases on certain energy products. Even before the war began in Ukraine, Europe and the world at large were facing an energy crush. Energy products and other commodities have risen since the start of the war. Now, this is the first time I'm going to say this in this episode. Trump told Angela Merkel, especially when she was chancellor in Germany, don't buy gas from Russia through the pipeline. Stop the pipeline and buy natural gas from us. It'll probably be at a better price, and you won't have to worry about us pulling the plug on you. Because Germany, very much like the northern United States and Northeast, has cold winters. But, they just wouldn't listen. Why? Because it was Trump. He could have gave them the formula for cold fusion, and they would have thrown in the garbage because they had Trump's name on it. It's amazing to me, amazing. They'd rather destroy nations and economies than admit Trump was right. My God. Is their pride more important than the world economy? Apparently so. Over the weekend, though, the EU represented a united front, and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced that even for a special session of Parliament, a one-time increase of more than $100 billion for defense spending. Now, listen to this. He also pledged to boost Germany's defense spending by above 2% of the country's gross domestic product. Now, that was the deal in NATO. You spend 2% or more on your defense and your share in NATO. And Germany was the worst offender in not doing it. So when Trump threatened them all not to defend them if they were attacked, isn't it amazing? All these European countries come up with the money, and now Germany says they're going to put in more than they agreed to for NATO. Isn't that fascinating? Again, they put their entire country and economy at stake not to admit that Trump was right. Oh, gosh, some people just don't grow up. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.